In a distant village lived a devout young man named Jurai. He spent most of his life in worship. He avoided crowded markets and noisy gatherings. He had a small place of worship built for himself. It stood quietly on the edge of the hills. Day and night he prayed there. He immersed himself in the remembrance of Allah. People in the village respected him deeply. Many called him the Righteous One, though he remained humble. One day his mother came to the door of his prayer hut. At that moment, Jurai was praying voluntary salah. He thought, should I break my prayer or answer my mother? His heart was torn, but eventually he continued praying. His mother called him again. Still he remained in prayer. The third time she called, and feeling hurt she said, "O Allah, do not let him die until he sees the face of a wicked woman." She left with sadness in her eyes. Days passed. Nearby lived a careless shepherd. He wandered with his sheep and behaved immorally with women. One day he seduced a woman secretly. Soon that woman became pregnant. When the villagers asked, "Who is the father of your child?" she panicked and falsely blamed Jurai. The lie spread quickly. Anger rose among the people. We thought he was pious. He pretended to be holy. Fury filled their hearts. They marched to Juraj's sanctuary with sticks, axes, and tools. Without warning they began smashing the walls. Wood cracked loudly as the structure collapsed. Hearing the chaos, Jurai came out and asked, "What is happening?" The villagers shouted, "You sinner, you wronged that woman." Jurai stood silent, shocked. He had no idea what they were talking about, but no one listened. Their anger drowned out his voice. He said softly, "Let me pray." He stood and prayed again, asking Allah for help. Meanwhile the villagers brought the woman forward, holding a newborn baby in her arms. "Here is the proof," they declared. "This is your child. This is the woman you sinned with." Jurai looked at the infant, a peaceful, innocent child sleeping quietly. The crowd continued shouting and insulting him. The accusation felt like a mountain on his chest, yet he remained calm and turned back to prayer. "O Allah, reveal the truth," he supplicated. The baby lay still. Jurai stepped closer and looked at him gently. The villagers yelled, "Do you still deny it?" Jurai replied, "This child will speak the truth." The crowd burst into laughter. "A newborn child will speak. Are you mocking us?" Their laughter grew louder. Some mocked him, some cursed him. Jurai stood in prayer once more, his face filled with trust in Allah. Then he turned toward the infant again. Suddenly the baby opened his eyes. Silence fell over the entire crowd. It felt as though even the wind had stopped. Shock appeared on every face. The woman trembled. Jurai smiled slightly. He knew the moment had come. The infant's tiny lips moved. The crowd leaned forward in disbelief, and then the baby began to speak. The moment the infant's lips parted, the villagers froze. No one dared breathe. The woman who had accused Jurai held the baby tightly, fear rising within her. Jurai stood calmly, watching with complete trust in his Lord. Then, in a soft but clear voice far beyond what a newborn could ever produce, the baby spoke. "He is not my father. The shepherd is my real father." The words echoed across the silent crowd. Mouths dropped open. Some staggered backward in shock. Others stared at the woman, expecting her to deny it, but she stood trembling, unable to speak. Her face turned pale, and tears welled in her eyes. The villagers gasped. Their anger melted into fear and confusion. Everything they believed about Jurai suddenly collapsed. "How could a newborn speak?" they whispered. "How could we accuse a righteous man so wrongly?" The crowd quickly realized the truth. Their blind anger had led them to destroy the dwelling of a man who had done nothing wrong. Some of them covered their faces in shame. Others looked at the broken sanctuary, regret filling their hearts. Jurai raised his hands and praised Allah, for the truth had been revealed exactly as he had asked. The villagers now stepped forward with trembling voices. "Jurai, forgive us. We wronged you. We destroyed your place of worship." Another said, "Tell us how we can make it right. We will rebuild your sanctuary with gold and silver if you wish." But Jurai gently shook his head. "I do not want gold, nor do I want silver," he said calmly. "Rebuild it as it was simple, just like before." The people nodded, humbled. They realized that Jurai cared nothing for worldly decoration, but only for worship and sincerity. As they began gathering materials to rebuild his sanctuary, the woman who had lied collapsed to the ground in tears. She held the child close and whispered, "I am sorry. I am so sorry." But the villagers were not angry with her anymore. They were overwhelmed by the miracle they had witnessed. A newborn had spoken, and through him Allah had cleared the name of his righteous servant. The shepherd who was the true father was brought forward. His face burned with shame as the crowd confronted him. He could not deny the child's words. He stood silently, head lowered, knowing he was exposed. Some villagers scolded him harshly. Others looked away, disgusted by his actions. But Jurai did not say a single word to him. He was not interested in revenge. His heart held nothing but gratitude to his Creator. As the sun began to set, the people finished rebuilding his sanctuary. The simple structure now stood firm again, a reminder of both human error and divine justice. When they were done, they gathered in front of Jurai. Their faces were filled with regret. One of them said softly, "We judged you without evidence. May Allah forgive us." Jurai replied with kindness, "May Allah guide all of us." Seek truth before judgment, for wrongdoing begins with assumptions. He then stepped inside his sanctuary, placed his forehead on the ground, and prayed long into the evening, thanking Allah for protecting his honor and showing the people the truth in a way none of them could deny. Outside, the villagers dispersed slowly, unable to forget the sight of that newborn child, eyes bright, voice clear, testifying to the innocence of a man devoted to his Lord. That night, the village remained unusually quiet. People whispered about the miracle, replaying the moment the newborn spoke in their minds. Some feared what they had done. Others felt humbled by Allah's power. Inside his rebuilt sanctuary, Jurai prayed with deep sincerity. Tears slipped from his eyes as he bowed before his Lord. He thanked Allah for revealing the truth, and for protecting him from the weight of such a terrible accusation. When dawn arrived, the villagers gathered outside. They wanted to greet Jurai, to show their respect, but they waited silently, unsure if they even deserved to stand before him. As the sun rose, Jurai came out. His face was calm, peaceful, as if none of the chaos had ever touched him. He greeted the people kindly, saying, "Peace be upon you." The villagers lowered their heads in shame. One man stepped forward and said, "Jurai, your patience has taught us a lesson greater than anything we have learned in years." A woman added, "We judged you without knowing the truth. We were unjust." Jurai nodded gently. "Anger blinds the heart," he said. "Truth is lost when we rush to accuse." The villagers felt the weight of his words. They promised themselves they would never again act out of rage or follow rumors without evidence. Meanwhile, the woman who had lied stayed inside her home. She could not face the people. Her shame was overwhelming. She held her child and cried. Knowing Allah had exposed the truth through a miracle she could neither deny nor escape. The shepherd avoided everyone as well. He wandered alone, realizing how his actions had destroyed the peace of the village and nearly ruined the life of an innocent man. By midday, people came again to Jurai's sanctuary not to accuse him but to seek wisdom from him. They asked questions about faith, about patience, and about how to trust Allah in difficult times. Jurai answered them with kindness and humility. He reminded them that trials are often disguised blessings, and that Allah tests whom He loves. One young boy asked shyly, "How did you stay calm when everyone was angry at you?" Jurai smiled gently and replied, "When a person knows that Allah sees the truth, there is no need to fear the lies of people." The boy's eyes widened, impressed by such simple yet powerful wisdom. Later that afternoon, the village elder visited Jurai. He had tears in his eyes. He said, "My son, I lived many years, but never have I seen a miracle like this." "It has changed our hearts," Jurai responded. "The miracle was not meant to honor me. It was meant to remind all of us that Allah controls every affair, and truth is always in His hands." The elder nodded slowly, feeling the depth of those words. As evening approached, children played near the sanctuary, their laughter echoing in the air, a sound that had vanished during the days of tension. But even they whispered now and then, "That was the baby who talked. Did you see it? My father said he heard it with his own ears." The entire village spoke of the event with awe, and word began to spread to neighboring towns. People traveled miles to meet Jurai and hear the story from those who witnessed it. But Jurai never claimed anything for himself. He always said only one thing. It was Allah who made the child speak. And as the night fell once again, Jurai retreated into his sanctuary, ready to continue his life of worship, grateful, humbled, and deeply aware of the mercy of his Lord.